Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. My name is AJ Kuftik. I'm Principal Technologist with Expedient. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Today, we have a really great presentation around our cloud data protection platform. With us today is Eric Beersdorfer. He is our Senior Product Operations Manager and our subject matter expert for data protection. So very happy to have Eric with us today. For those of you who are new to Expedient, we were founded in 2001. We started in colocation, moved into managed services, and are now in cloud. We have cloud locations in US East, Central, and West, and international cloud deployments on customer sites in Australia, Germany, and Canada. So if our cloud locations don't work, we can bring that cloud to you, and that applies domestically as well. We're also a Cohesity-powered service provider, and we'll talk a lot more about them in a second. If you have any questions, please enter those down below into the Q&A panel. Eric is here to answer those questions along with myself. We will be answering those questions throughout and also at the end of the presentation. But I think we all need to come to one very easy conclusion here, and that is that backups suck. They're very bad. No one really likes doing backups. And they cause a lot of problems for most people, and there's a lot of reasons for that. The first one is that platform management is tough, right? You have to decide what platform you want. You have to then buy all the hardware to support all of those backups. You then have to figure out what it is that you're backing up. That usually determines what piece of software or hardware or both, combined platform that you end up buying. And then managing that, the patching of that, the storage capacity of that, all of that platform management can be very, very difficult and can consume a lot of time, right? Especially for something like backups, where this is something that you need to have, but it's not something that you spend all of your waking hours on, right? The other challenge is integrations, right? You have VMware, you have cloud, you have database, you have application level, you have various legacy platforms, physical hardware platforms. All of those integrations all lead back to your main backup platform. And so that can also become a challenge. I can't upgrade my vCenter because my backup software doesn't support the newest version. I have to upgrade my backup software before I can upgrade my vCenter version. And those can all lead to longer rollout times for new features for your platform. And finally, restore tests. If you have to do a restore, most people don't take the time to actually do a restore of a VM, do a restore of files to make sure that things are actually working. But here's the thing, though. Backups are necessary. We need to have backups for things, right? Mostly because failback for code upgrades are a thing. Somebody does a code upgrade to an application, they roll that out, the code goes out, something doesn't work, their failback, their rollback plan doesn't work either, and they have to go back to the backups of the code. If you don't have a backup, things are very bad news for you right now. The other one is ransomware. Ransomware is a thing that happens, and it's happening more and more now. We've seen it happen to our customer base. We see it happen out in the overall world. There's a number of different city of Atlanta, city of Baltimore, Lake City, Florida. All of these large municipalities have had this happen. Hospital systems have had this happen. Ransomware is a really common occurrence. And having good immutable backups is a way to recover from those things. In fact, you can go back and watch our National Auto Care webinar that we did a couple weeks ago. Go.expedient.com/webinar replays. You can go back and watch that webinar and see how we helped a customer recover from ransomware utilizing our backup platform. And finally, and the most common one of all, people make mistakes. It's a thing that happens. Somebody goes in and they click a file and they delete it, and they didn't mean to delete it, and it's really important. Maybe that was the accounting ledger. Maybe that was the order form. Maybe that was a whole VM. Maybe that was multiple VMs. Maybe they deleted a data store. All of these things are possible, and people make mistakes. And so how do we help fix those mistakes? At Expedient, we give you the big giant red undo button. What we do is we can make backups better. When you pair our cloud data protection with our Expedient Enterprise Cloud, we can integrate that at the tenant level. This gives us the ability to focus your time on your applications and less on your backups. Everything inside of your tenant is backed up. It's that simple. You only pay for what you actually use. And we'll talk about the deduplication in a second, But when we're able to dedupe all of that data, you're only paying for what actually gets written to disk, which is actually a big boon for you. One of the big challenges of managing your own backup platform is that you have to then put in the 20%, 30% headroom, and now you have storage that you're paying for that you're not really using. By paying for what you actually use, you get a better cost to usage ratio, and that's more beneficial for your business. And with our Google-like restore process, we're able to restore quickly. We're able to go in and search for a file, even inside of a file structure, so you don't have to find the server that it's on and then find what Byzantine file structure it sits under to try and recover that. If you need the file that's labeled 2021 accounting, you can search for 2021 accounting and find it. It's that simple. But, and I'm going to make Eric feel bad here, let's talk about traditional restores. Most people, especially those of you who are on this, have probably done a restore of a file or a VM at some point. You have a backup storage platform. That might be tape, virtual tape, disk, but whatever it is, it's going to be cheap and it's going to be deep, but it's not going to be terribly quick. You have that backup software that goes in, finds the tapes or wherever the storage is that's holding that file, brings it up, and starts copying it back to its original location. And that takes time. Now, if you're recovering like a 1 meg file, probably not that long. But if you're recovering a 1 terabyte VM, that may take a long time. Recovering that has to wait, and actually getting that application back online has to wait until that copy is complete. So everybody turns into experts on progress bars, and they're all staring at it, waiting for it to fully recover. But it doesn't power back on until the copy's complete. So how do we do that differently? This is where Cohesity, the Cohesity platform, comes in for us. What Cohesity does is it live mounts the storage to our vCenter, and then the VM is available to be powered on at that moment. And the VM begins running off of the Cohesity platform in their flash layer, which is the fast part, right? So there's cheap and deep storage on the back end for archive, but your main storage when you're doing the restore is happening in the flash layer. And while that's happening, that VM is on, those applications are back up and running. Your business can keep moving while us, ITs, the magic little elves in the night, are making sure that that data goes back to where it's supposed to be on the main production storage. And that's happening through storage vMotion, just like any other storage vMotion you would do. It's really, really powerful and really, really simple. But this is all nice to talk about. Let's actually walk through a demo of this. So we're going to look at some backup reporting and policies, and then I'm going to go make a massive mistake. And then I'm going to make that mistake again because there's warnings. And then we're going to go do a restore. You'll see just how easy that actually is. Let's pull this up. And what I have here is our Cohesity platform. This is the main page that you will log into. You can see your protection jobs. You can see when things were last run and everything that you need to see to manage your backups. Again, we're managing the platform, so you don't have to worry about anything behind this. You don't have to worry about code upgrades or doing any of that stuff. You get to focus on the things that actually matter, which is making sure that your data is protected. If I go into Policy Manager, I can see that I have different policies, right? I have my 4 weeks VMs every 12 hours and log every hour, or 2-week retention for maybe my test dev stuff, right? I can have longer retention periods, shorter retention periods, and you can work with fine folks like Eric on how to actually deploy that properly. So let's go back into my jobs. And I'm going to go down to the very bottom here and open up this demo easel backup. And I can see that we take an incremental job every 12 hours. Note that there's no full in here because the first backup happens, and that's your main backup. And then everything else is just changes, which makes it so that backups happen very, very quickly, which is why we can do things in an every 12-hour fashion. But note also here is the data read column versus the data written column. This backup that happened here, this is 6 gigs. I'm only writing 650 megs to disk. And that's because of deduplication, right? I already have some of these blocks on the disk, so we can just do pointers, and that's a massive savings for me. That's an almost 10x savings that we have writing to disk versus what actually changed. And that's a big, big deal, especially when you start to grow this out at size. This is just one VM. When you do this at dozens of VMs or hundreds of VMs, that savings can actually be really big. But I feel like making a mistake. So I'm going to go pick this Ubuntu One VM right here, and I'm going to power it off. right? So there's a warning that I'm powering off this VM. I've already made mistake number one. So there should be a whole lot of tickets in real life that would be happening that this VM has been powered off. This is our lab, so there's no tickets. And if I go back into it and I click delete, I see that my VM is now being deleted. And I've now ruined things because I was supposed to delete a VM called AJ-Ubuntu, not Ubuntu-1. Whoops, time to go do a recovery. So we're going to go into our recovery panel, and I'm going to click recover and then VMs, and I'm going to go search for Ubuntu-1, and our search process happens. And here is the VM that I would like to recover, right? Ubuntu-1. And I'm going to recover it back to its original location. And I'm going to click finish. And that's it. That's all I have to do. Here's my VM, click restore, done. And now as this goes along, it's live mounting the storage up to vCenter. I can see that my storage is live mounted. And I can see that we're going to power on this VM. And while that's powering on, this is doing a copy in the background that is moving the data from the Cohesity storage out to its actual production storage. If I go back into the enterprise cloud and I click refresh on the VM list, I see my VM is here. It's loading back in. VCD is reading it back in. It's now powered off, and I can turn it back on. So I recovered from that inside of this time period very, very, very quickly. But let's say I don't want to recover a whole VM, right? Because VMs can be really big and people can do things like delete stuff in file structures underneath. I'm going to go recover a file that I have deleted before. And I'm going to type in sensitive. And I see that I have this file here called extremely sensitive information. And you know that it's sensitive because it says extremely sensitive information on it. So we'll open this up. And I have the ability to go back into past checkpoints. Now, obviously, I haven't made any changes here. It's only 30 bytes across the board, but I can go back into the individual checkpoints and go back to a point in time when we knew the file was good, right? And I can go back very, very easily without having to go say, okay, well, it might be from June 1st, and I need to do that here, or I need to do that there. I can recover this from whatever checkpoint I need to, and I can do that over and over again to find the right version of the file. And I can also do that based on file size. But one of my favorite things is this download now button here at the bottom. Because maybe I don't want to put this back into the location. Maybe I want to download it locally, make sure the file is right, and then put it back into the file structure where I think it's supposed to be. So I can click download now, and I can click here and see that I've opened this file and I have this, and that's the correct file. And I'm going to send this to the person who said that they deleted it so they can put it back where it's supposed to be. It's really that simple. And I really think that that's a powerful statement around backups and data protection and how we're able to do that for our customer base, right? Again, all of this is powered by Cohesity. You pay per terabyte used. And that gives you the ability to grow granularly. You don't have to buy 20 terabytes of storage, knowing that you're only using 10 of them and then have the other 10 waiting. You just pay for the 10 terabytes. And then when you need 11, you get 11 terabytes and then 12 terabytes. It's very simple. All of the storage is encrypted at rest. So that allows you to meet all of your compliance requirements, SOC 1, SOC 2, HIPAA, high trust, PCI DSS, all of those that require that. We have the Google-like restore process and that global deduplication table. This is actually really a power that we have as a service provider. So we have a number of customers that are all using Cohesity. That global deduplication table allows us to have savings between our customers. So if somebody writes a block that's similar and that pointer happens, everything works from a backup standpoint and you only pay for what you're actually writing. We manage that platform. You worry about your applications because that's the part that actually matters for you and your business. Backups are things that we do to keep the lights on. And our job is to keep the lights on. Your job is to help your business grow and succeed. And when we look at this, this isn't just a pure backup opportunity. This is also a disaster recovery scenario as well. We have our tier resiliency platform with Zerto, VMware Cloud Director Availability, and Cohesity, where we can protect workloads, both from a critical standpoint, your test dev workloads, or even tier 1, tier 2 workloads, or even archive with things like Cohesity, where we can use Cohesity to replicate not just between our data centers, but from your on-site data center to our data center and help give you that second data center without having for all the overhead of owning and maintaining one. We can do that. We're very good at it. And with that, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, aj.kuftic@expedient.com. And if you want to get your hands on our Expedient Enterprise Cloud, you can go to expedient.com/VMware-test-drive, and we can set you up with a test drive for 30 days. You get 128 gigs of RAM and a terabyte of storage. This gives you the ability to try it out, actually kick the tires on it, and we can work with you on getting maybe the Cohesity platform enabled so you can see just how easy this platform can be. And with that, hi, Eric. I'm going to open up for questions here. Hey. I see some questions here around, are we leveraging Cohesity's DM as a service, data management as a service platform? No. That is a AWS partnership. We manage our own Cohesity platform. We have about 22 petabytes of backup storage in our data centers that we use. Eric, how do you, have you looked into the Cohesity data management as a service solution?
Not extensively, as you mentioned, as far as I'm aware. You go out and you purchase an AWS appliance or something like that, and it lives out in their facility, and they kind of handle all of the, difficult pieces for you. As you mentioned, AJ, we stand up our own clusters. We have over a dozen of them out there, providing backup solutions for our clients.
And I think that's a big differentiator, is that not only is it I think the big differentiator for us there is that it's not just a pure technology stack that we're running out of a cloud provider, that there's people like Eric and our support staff that help bring these sorts of things along. In fact, that National Auto Care recovery, one of our operations support center people was on the phone with them for multiple hours, helping them do all the restores and get everything back up and running. So you're not going at this alone. You're going at this with a team of people that can help you through this. Would this replace Veeam? Eric, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, sure. This is a direct competitor to Veeam. So all your VMware backups that you leverage Veeam for, Cohesity can take the place of, as well as a number of agent backups, right? Say you have a SQL database that you need to back up, Cohesity can also be your answer there.
Yeah, we definitely help customers using Cohesity outside of just pure backups. We do it with file storage, where we can land, say, archive data. We do things with Cohesity around multi-tenancy. We have a customer, I believe, that's using them to do different individual platforms so they can have separated backups. We have this in our international deployments as well. So we're able to put this where it needs to be. It is not just a inside of our four walls sort of opportunity. It is a thing that we can do in many different places. We're actually in the process of helping a customer where they deployed Cohesity nodes on-prem, and we can manage those as well. And then we can replicate that all the way back to our data center and give you that replication back off-site so that your data is protected in the event of some sort of physical disaster. For those of you who have any questions that are out there, also, if you ask a question, you're entered to win a prize. I forgot to mention that at the very beginning. The prize this week is a Instant Pot. So you could go ahead and get those questions in there. We're more than happy to answer those. Looking at, so Eric, I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
When we're looking at data protection, we start looking at things like hyperscale clouds. How are customers able to protect their data going forward? Kind of what do you see as some of those best practices?
Yeah, so today, what you could do is you could stand up a Cohesity cluster, in AWS, and then replicate that back to our installations in our data center for that second copy. But, as we look forward and we look at the industry changing, one of the things that, we're evaluating as the software becomes available is the ability to essentially put an appliance out there on your AWS edge, which is not a full Cohesity cluster, and that will essentially proxy the backup traffic back to our data centers from AWS, or even really your on-site VMware presence if that were a route you were looking to go down. So, that's one of the big product enhancements we see coming in the future for us.
And I think that's actually a big change for a lot of people, because once they start looking outside of their data center, they start to get nervous because all the things that they knew start to get a little different, right? There's a completely new design paradigm to that. And I think one of the things that we at least see coming as Expedient is, how do we help our customers do data protection overall, right? We know how to do backups now. We do it for hundreds of customers. We have petabytes of backup storage, so it's not something we're new to. But how do we actually help them overall, not just inside of data centers? Who supports your on-ramps to the cloud companies? We are part of the Equinix Cloud Fabric, and that gives us the ability to connect to Equinix data centers and point of presence in San Jose, Ashburn, and Virginia. Ashburn, Chicago, and San Jose. Virginia and Ashburn are in the same place. But by doing that, that gives us those direct connections into an AWS or an Azure or GCP or really any other data center provider, that allows us to have that high speed, low latency connectivity to actually get there faster, because we know that a lot of customers want to do things like move to a cloud operating model. And one of our biggest capabilities is landing on our enterprise cloud for legacy workloads that aren't a great fit for hyperscale clouds, and then being able to have that high speed connectivity to actually get into a hyperscale cloud once those applications or those use cases come around. So there's a couple different ways of that. One of the other things that you could do, I know that there's a lot of people, Eric, we've done this with customers before, is that we also offer colocation. So if you have physical infrastructure that you need to land, say physical database servers, mainframe, AIX, we have the rack space, the colo space for you to land those and put those right next to our clouds, our enterprise cloud and our cloud native. And that also gives you the capability to do those direct backups into our Cohesity platform as well. We have a number of customers who leverage physical Oracle servers because Oracle licensing is a thing. And so the ability to land those in our data center is actually a really, really powerful capability, but then still get the benefits of getting Cohesity as a service from us. Eric, can you, no, without mentioning any customer names, but we've seen this before, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously the bread and butter is backing up EEC on VMware, with the native backups there. But Cohesity offers a number of different, agents that you can essentially put out on a physical server that will back up any type of database, SQL, Oracle, NoSQL. A bunch of those are also supported that you could leverage to still use the same single pane of glass to manage all your backups.
We have a question here. Do you leverage internet exchanges for direct peering outside of Equinix owned DCs for Cohesity latency reduction? Yes. I'm not entirely sure about the Boston Internet Exchange. I know at least in the Columbus area, we are on, was that Dubnet? Dublin, Ohio, and Columbus have some dark fiber around the city that we've definitely had customers utilize to get very low latency and high speed connectivity into our data centers. But that's definitely something we can actually walk through and talk through as part of a backup recovery scenario for, say, if you're a customer in Boston and you want to come to our Boston data center. If you are already a Expedient Colocation customer, is it possible to test out the Cohesity solution? Eric, I'm pretty sure that answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah, I'd say reach out to your client advisor from sales, and they should be able to stand up demo process for you.
Yeah, we can definitely do demos. We can definitely get you stood up on that platform so you can see what we're capable of delivering. And we appreciate you being in our data centers already. So thank you for your business already. And we always look forward to helping our customers in a deeper way. We're more than just a colo company. We are a cloud company and offer a number of other services on top of that. That allow us to provide you with more peace of mind and the ability to focus on the things that actually matter, like how do I benefit the business? How do I help with these revenue generating products and projects, and less on the things that just keep the lights on and are things that we need to have in case something goes wrong. With that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Will the solution work with Nutanix? Oh, one last question that just came in. I believe the answer to that, actually, Eric, go ahead and take that one. Sorry.
Yeah, Nutanix is a supported platform for Cohesity backups.
Yeah, I mean, the difference would be the only difference that we would need to look into is, are you running AHV or are you running VMware on top of it? But either way, it works.
Yep.
It's just a matter of supportability and what we need to do to get that all connected up for you. With that, we'll wrap it up here. Hold on, I got to find the question. Dennis Norton is the winner of the Instant Pot. Congratulations, Dennis. I hope you make some lovely tortilla soup with that. We appreciate everyone's time today. We're going to wrap this up here. And we thank you. Please join us on Thursday, where we're going to open up our crystal ball and take a look at what we think 2021 has from a technical standpoint. So come on with us. We're going to go do a deep dive on technology trends that we see coming this year. And next week, we'll be right back here doing a demo of our enterprise cloud native platform with Mike Garuccio. So you can ask all of your cloud native and app modernization questions to Mike and myself. And we will see you soon. Thanks.